So our second speaker of the day is going to flip to the other end of the supply chain, probably one most of this room is a bit more familiar with, the growing and producing end. Our next speaker is Duncan. He's Duncan Farrington, fourth generation farmer from a farm about an hour north from here, having successfully launched, and I've got to get this right, Duncan, Farrington's Mellow Yellow cold pressed rapeseed. I'm going to practice that later. In 2005, and in doing so became the country's first seed to bottle producer. Duncan's probably better qualified than anyone else to give us a grower's perspective to the market. Duncan.
Thank you, Tim, and thank you for inviting me. There is Farrington's Mellow Yellow. More about that later. So I'm going to talk today, over the next few minutes, how I came to start Farrington Oils, share some of my experiences learned over the years, and before thinking a bit broader about how we as an industry and as farmers here today, how maybe we can do a bit more to get closer to the market. I'm not going to tell you how to start a rapeseed oil business. There's plenty of farmers phoned me up in the past and asked, where did you get machinery from? What was your route to market? So if you've come along listening, hoping for that, you're going to be disappointed. I'm just going to talk about concepts. So I am a fourth generation farmer, as Tim said. I farm in the beautiful village of Hargrave in Northamptonshire. I came back to the family farm after graduating from Y College in 1993. Initially, I had lots of bright ears, some daft ones along the way, but I was lucky that my father allowed me to have a go at things. And early on, two topics got me passionate to try and do things better from a farming point of view. First was to try and change the public perception that agriculture was perceived as the cause of all things bad when it came to the environment. And this is when I found Leaf. I joined Leaf to try and learn for myself how to farm better, but then also to talk about it to the public. And I'm a demonstration farmer, and I've been a groupie following Caroline around for years since. So I'm very passionate about Leaf, and I think it's doing a great job. That's the advert over for Leaf, but it's not an advert. I think it's genuine, and it ties in with what we're doing with the oil. The second of my passions was a desire to learn more about crop establishment. I'm still learning, I'm still looking, I'm still making mistakes, but soils, I think, it is literally the core of everything that we grow, whether it's crops or animals. And I think, the whole idea of this conference and Monitor Farms, it is becoming top of the agenda. So I started with those two things, but it soon became apparent that passion alone was not going to pay the bills on our medium-sized family farm. And I thus returned to my university research on rapeseed oil as a potential diversified income stream to ensure the longer viability of the farm. Now, rapeseed oil has many health benefits that were simply not recognised in the UK back in 1991. Such benefits are increased when the oil is extracted from the seed in the cold press form. In other words, we just gently squeeze the oil out, we don't refine it in any way, so you get a pure natural product. And here we have a chart, just a comparison of oils, and you'll see that actually rapeseed oil is incredibly healthy. It's got the lowest saturated fat at 11%. Polyunsaturates, we've heard about it, but rapeseed's got the perfect mix. It's got 10% omega-3, which is 10 times more than olive oil. Sunflower oil and coconut oil haven't got any. We need omega-3 in our diet. It's the cholesterol reducer. It's high in monosaturated fat. It has other vitamins and plant sterols, and it's got a high smoke point, which makes it very versatile in the kitchen, because at the end of the day, it may be healthy, but we want it to be a usable product as well. However, while other countries started to run with this evidence, Britain was not interested. And I was even told by one of the leading academics at the time, back in the early 90s, Duncan, you haven't got a hope in hell of marketing something with the word rape in its name, which was something I took that on, and he was true in what he says, but I thought later on we could challenge that. And things started to change. Firstly, we started to get a British food culture, in many cases being led by entrepreneurial farmers, some of whom, you're in the room today. Everything from artisan cheeses, ice creams, maybe rare breed animals producing quality joints and traditional meats. There's been a big growth in the artisan crisp market. There's a whole host of brands out there, more latterly in gins. You can't walk down the street or into a pub without seeing a new gin brand, and they're doing very, very well. Craft beers, even cold-pressed vegetable drinks. Secondly, the advent of the celebrity chef. and the cookery programs really help capture consumers' imagination of the what, the where and the how their food is produced. So eventually in 2005, I launched Farrington's Mellow Yellow. As Tim said, it was Britain's first farm-grown, pressed and bottled rapeseed oil. Now, I had the knowledge how to extract the oil from the seed. I'd done the research on it. I knew it was fantastically healthy, but whether people would buy it or not was a concern, especially with that term rapeseed, or rape in the word. So how did we go about doing it? Well, we had a brainstorming session. So one evening at home, my wife Ellie cooked supper. We invited friends round. I had a load of Post-it notes, and by the end of the evening, the kitchen wall was covered in Post-it notes. And this rather yellow-looking, rather mellow-tasting oil, that's where the brand name came from that night. So we had a brand name to start with. But then behind the brand name is the whole provenance that was very, very important to me. It had to be a genuine farm-produced story, along with the environmental credentials. That's where Leaf comes in, with the Leaf mark. It needed to look good, as people buy initially with their eyes. You've got the 3 seconds when you're walking down the aisle to decide whether you're going to buy it or not. So this is where Ellie came in with her magic, working with a designer. They came up with the flower petal design. And also, she was very conscious. She wanted it to look good from the start. We're going for a quality market here. So rather than just put any old cap on the bottle, she said, right, we're going to do a nice cream-coloured cap with a flower petal on and the name Farrington's around it. I said, that's fine, lovely, sounds great. We looked into it. I had to order 70,000 or 75,000 caps, I think. I hadn't even sold or produced a bottle. I didn't know whether people were going to buy it. So I was a little bit nervous, but to be fair, if it had been left to me, it would have looked a bit agricultural. And I was conscious that if we were going to do it, we were going to do it right from the start. So finally, I was adamant that if I was going to do it, it wanted to last, it wanted to be a sustainable business, and we needed to ensure that it's very important people bought their second bottle. Not the first one when I'm bashing them over the head saying how great it is, but the second one when I'm not there, when they're in the shops and they're making all those decisions while they're doing their weekly shop. So the positioning was very important in the market. Although, as I said, it is an incredibly healthy oil, we wanted to position it as a culinary oil, a versatile oil, an oil that you could use on everyday use. And so we market it not in the health aisle, but in the general grocery, in the general oil aisles. And when we first saw it being splashed around in Nigella's hands on one of her cookery programs, saying how she loves Mellow Yellow and it's her oil of choice, we knew we were probably onto a winner. So in the first year, we produced 6,500 bottles. I got 80 independent customers nationwide, so that just left 60-odd thousand of those caps to get rid of. After 4 years, it had the same turnover as our farm, and that, remember, I'm a 4th-generation farmer. Now, today, we produce a range of 7 different products. We produce salad dressings and mayonnaises. Mellow Yellow is at the heart of everything, and we can produce more bottles in a day than I produced in my whole of my first year. Where are we? And yes, we sell now to independent retailers nationwide. We sell to national retailers, and we count some of the best chefs in the country as our customers. So it's been a great success story, and I'm very proud of it. I set out to create a small diversification to supplement our farm income. And it's far exceeded my initial ambitions. We employ over 12 people. We continue to grow our little business. However, I am very conscious that timing was key, because what I started in 2005 may not have started in 1995. So remember that if you're looking at something, timing is everything. Now, 20 years ago, Caroline said this in her talk, environmentalism was, on the agenda. Everyone was looking at how to become more environmentally aware and reduce their environmental footprint. However, consumer demand for healthy foods or foods with provenance was limited at the time. No one was looking for a cold-pressed rapeseed oil, for example. This has changed in the last few years as consumers are increasingly looking for foods with genuine credentials produced by genuine farmers. And this is a message that Marion was saying also, as an industry, farming, we have a great message. And that can be shown here. This is a graph from Mintel, and it shows over the last few years the growth in different terms. This is in food products launched worldwide. So the big growth there of foods with no additives or preservatives. environmentally friendly packaging. Gove at the moment is on about plastic pollution. It is on the agenda now. Gluten-free is increasing, vegetarian, veganism, Caroline mentioned that, I think, or Marion mentioned that. People may not be a vegetarian, but they might have a meat-free Monday. People may not be celiacs, but they may be choosing some gluten-free products. This is a great opportunity for farmers and the agricultural industry to work with researchers and food manufacturers and retailers to give consumers something of what they're looking for. Now, some farmers may choose to go down the niche route and produce something to be sold for local farmers, such as, a mellow yellow product or something else. They might want to do it at the local farmers' markets. They may want to go to the local independent food shops and farm shops, or they may want to go more mainstream and supply the national retailers. It is hard work. These national retailers are, they are professional. I laugh when I saw Marion's slide with the different buyers. I've met most of those, if not all of those, over the years. But you soon learn very, very quickly how to deal with them, or try to. And if you've got the right product and the right attitude, there is a potential to build a strong, sustainable relationship with supermarkets from which you can grow successfully. Farrington Oils is still niche, but our provenance of farm produce, additive-free, healthy and British have propelled us and other artisan brand companies into areas we could previously not imagine. So what other opportunities are there for farmers to get closer to the market? In a word, I'd say plenty, and here's just a few ideas. Some of them have been mentioned. Oats, gluten-free. Oats in breakfast cereal growing exponentially. Great opportunities out there. Pulses, I know it's not an AHDB remit, but pulses, there's a brand here, Hobmedod's, that are doing British-grown pulses. I think that is an area that is absolutely ripe for some real innovation. How many people here have had a hummus or falafel in the last 6 months? And how many of you would have heard of hummus or falafels 10 years ago? Not many, maybe. Well, is one person, couple of people have, but it's an area that's growing, a non-meat source of protein. Naked barley, not something we tend to consume in the UK at the moment, but in the Bronze Age it was a staple food. Breeding programs may mean that in the future there's opportunities for crops like naked barley. Or if you want to go a bit more up to date and a bit posher maybe, quinoa or quinoa, up on the right-hand side there, the British Quinoa Company. Great product, great brand, great credentials. So that's another area that could be looking at. And I've mentioned vegetables earlier. Not just your fresh produce and going and buying a cabbage in the supermarket, maybe sound a bit boring. Why not crush it up and make a drink out of it, especially things like beetroot, which are incredibly in vogue because of their antioxidant potentials and values. So these are examples that can be done by individual people and companies. However, I recognise that creating and producing food products to sell to customers is not right for every farmer. And I'm not suggesting it should be right for every farmer because, some people just don't want to go there. But this doesn't stop those farm businesses from taking part in it and getting closer to the consumer. In our case, I currently source rapeseed from our own farm, and I now also work with 3 other farmers locally. They've all had to become leaf mark. I offer a premium to them, so they're already gaining by supplying us. We pay well. They get a premium and they enjoy being part of it. And last night I was out with one of the guys at local discussion group. He said, "Oh, thank you, Duncan, for the bottle of oil." And when he delivered the last load, he had a bottle of oil from his seed that he made. He's part of the story. But he had to get leaf mark to do it to supply us. But out of those 3 farmers that supply us, 2 of them have done Open Farm Sunday, and they really enjoyed it and had a great experience from it, and they got closer to the consumer. So more can be done at an industry level. That is where the likes of the AHDB come in to help the industry galvanise the research and bring the stakeholders together. Nutrient-specific foods, for example. Just take our biggest commodity of wheat. This can benefit from breeding and agronomy to increase specialise the nutritional qualities of the crop and hence new market opportunities. You could have maybe increased fibre variants or selenium enriched, for example. Weetabix have now launched a high protein Weetabix. That is a classic example. By the industry working as a whole, we can offer the market something novel. Finally, if you will allow me, I just want to ponder a couple of thoughts past you and possibly dream a little, and I would like to return to my passion to improve our soils. The nutritional quality of the food we eat is directly related to the soil it's grown in. It's a sobering thought to reflect that over the last 70 years, the level of nutrition in almost every kind of food has fallen between 10 and 100%. This means we need to eat twice as much meat, 3 times as much fruit, and 4 to 5 times as many vegetables to obtain the same amounts of minerals, not calories, actual nutrition I'm talking about, compared to where we were in 1940. And if we have a look at this slide here, mineral depletion in vegetables, copper gone down 76%, it's gone down a quarter in meat. It's negative all the way down there. So I'd suggest that is maybe we're mining the soil and degrading our soils. The tables clearly show this trend in both vegetables and in meat. And it may be that we've forgotten how to look after our soils in this period. However, by working with the soil and allowing the biology to naturally increase the mineral availability, we can potentially reverse this. And on that third column there, what I've done here, I've taken one of our fields at home where I've done soil analysis over the last few years, between 2002 and 2016, and you can see how the mineral content has increased. This shows that in the geological blink of an eye, it's possible to revitalise our soil and hopefully revitalise our foods. Obviously, this is a purely non-scientific approach I've taken, just one field on our farm. It could be correct, it may not be correct. But most things, apart from magnesium, have gone up. The phosphate's gone up no end because we put sewage sludge on. That's not from bagged fertiliser. We're doing returning the straw into the soil. We're doing no-till, and we're doing cover crops. So we're doing simple things. We are getting the nutrition up of the soil. If that follows through to the food, I think we could be onto something as an industry here. So if as an industry we start looking at the bigger picture, with a bit of imagination, we could potentially provide a more nutritious diet to the nation. We could even help create a more healthy population, less in need of an overstretched National Health Service, and the value of such a dream could be enormous. Food manufacturers are not going to ask for this, and nor are retailers. It's not their job to do so. It is our job as an industry to develop these ideas, to show we can provide the nutritious foods before we build the relationships with those manufacturers and retailers. At this point, we'll be able to really embrace the concept of getting closer to the market. So, in conclusion, and in true retail style, I've done a bog off, so we've got 2 of them for the price of 1. So the first one is for the industry. Demand for nutritious foods will continue to grow worldwide. Mintel and all major statistics are showing that. And AHDB, I saw a brilliant talk at a previous conference. They've got all of these statistics there to look at. It's fascinating. As will the demand for food and food brands with provenance. So it could be the words like craft or grown on my farm or family business. Less processing, cold pressed is our example. Clean ingredients, additive free. We saw the growth in additive free demand. Environmental credentials could be leaf, for example. Farmers have an opportunity to play a vital role in the public health. It shouldn't be left for others to do. You know, I think Marion said how much, where food is on that agenda, it's 4th in the list after your car or your mobile phone bill. It should, you know, we need to raise it higher up the list and get people to take responsibility for their own health. Entrepreneurial farmers and food manufacturers should work with researchers, food nutritionists and health professionals to develop healthy foods that consumers are increasingly looking for. However, I'll give one health warning on this. We should give consumers what they actually need and not what they sometimes think they need. In the era of social media, there's a lot of hype goes out there. There's a lot of food brands, and in our sector is one in particular that, you know, everyone's jumped on the bandwagon with the young bloggers and that. They think it's absolutely wonderful and healthy. It's a load of nonsense. And I'm now seeing that particular range of products, I think their time's over. Because if we jump on bandwagons like that, long term we won't be thanked for it. And the second and final conclusion, this is for the individual, for those of you that are thinking of going and do something yourself. So go and choose something that interests you. Don't go for the thing that you think you're going to make money on, because if it doesn't interest you, you won't succeed. Don't underestimate how long it will take to get there. It will take a long time and a lot of hard work. Talk to people from different backgrounds and experiences. I think this is absolutely crucial. Don't go and get consultants and waste your money. Talk to people. Today is a brilliant opportunity. And if this was 15 years ago, I'd be marrying a drink tonight and trying to get as much information out of her as possible. So anyone with budding ideas, I expect to see you at the bar with Marion later. Look at yours and look at similar markets. Research is key. We've heard that already today. Look at grant opportunities. The government and local authorities, regional food boards, there's money out there for innovative ideas and support. So always good to go and look at that. And recognise you may need different skills, and if you do need them, go and learn them quickly. And build good, solid relationships with customers and suppliers. Don't be afraid of the big boys, and when I say that, I mean the supermarkets. They are run by people like you and me. They may only have their Christmas bonus on that they're going to lose out on, but you've got your business you're going to lose. It is scary when you're in that small cupboard with them and they've had years of experience in negotiation and you're quaking in your boots. But what you've got over them, you've got what they want. You've got the provenance, you've got the story, and it's genuine. But at the end of the day, if I'm pushed, I have lost my rag in the past, and it was a bit embarrassing. But I came out of that and I thought, actually, it's my business. It's not my bonus. It's the staff I'm now employing, and I'm not going to give it away. If you work with them well, and they aren't all bad, I've had some brilliant experiences with buyers, and you can grow the business sustainably together and you both succeed. Be careful, though, that you don't end up subsidising one company with another, either in money or time. And a classic example of this I heard off someone at a food show one day. Oh, yes, I couldn't go out and see that new customer yesterday because it was perfect spray day and I had to go and get the spraying done. Forget that. If that's how you're going to think, you're not going to do it. Get a contractor in to do your spraying if you need to do that. Go and see the customer. Talk niche, and we've heard that again today, but think big. So don't lose sight. We are still a small company. We're very successful compared to the farm, but in the big scheme of things, we're tiny. And the buyers and the consumers want to hear about that small niche product and give them a nice woolly reason, fuzzy feeling that they want to buy it. Once you've come up with the idea and you like it, run with it. Really go for it, and finally, enjoy it. And if you enjoy it, I think you'll make a success of it. Thank you.